Hi everyone, welcome back to Mindset Monday here at Gymnast Mindset. I am Sherry Medini, and tonight we're going to be talking about an article that we actually have on our website, and I'm going to be expanding on this and diving more into this topic, but it's called A Happier Route to Success. And I think it's such an important topic to touch on. But first, I do want to explain who we are, what we do, especially if you are new here. Gymnast Mindset is a sports-specific mindset training program. So it's gymnastics specific, and we work with individuals and teams in areas like mental toughness, relaxing under pressure, confidence, self-knowledge, all of that good stuff that goes into our sport and the mindset aspect of our sport. As I always say, this is not therapy. It's not motivational speaking. It is strength training for your mind. And the difference there is that we're not just pumping you up and getting you excited and kind of putting you into an emotional whirlwind and then sending you off and wishing you the best of luck. This is a very systematic, very purposeful, very consistent program where we're going to build skills that will help you mentally. The reason for this is, if you are in the world of gymnastics, you are all too familiar with how mental our sport can be. And, it comes down to like a gymnast, if you are the gymnast, or if you're a parent watching this, share this with your gymnast. But a gymnast can go up and do thousands of beam routines, put in those repetitions, do that training, and then they get to a meet and the nerves start to take over. And then the gymnast isn't able to show what they're capable of. They're not able to rise to the occasion. They're not able to achieve what they are capable of achieving not because they're not capable of it, not because they haven't put in the physical training or aren't strong enough, but that the mental piece of it got in the way. And that can be so frustrating. It's frustrating for gymnasts and parents and coaches. And it's something that, just like anything else, you're not going to automatically get stronger if you're not conditioning. You're not automatically going to get more flexible if you're not working on your flexibility. You're not automatically going to get a new skill if you're not training for it. So the same thing applies where we do that mindset training, that we do work on that consistently and build those skill sets so that when the time comes, you are ready for those competitions. Everything will piece together and fall into place. But with all of that being said, what I want to talk about tonight is how enjoying the process, how enjoying your sport and bringing happiness back to that can actually give you an increased chance at success. So like I mentioned a little bit ago here, if you go to gymnastmindset.com, we do have a bunch of resources there. We have articles and videos, and it's there to help give you an idea of our perspective, our approach. It is different than maybe some other things that you've come across. So being able to get a feel for how we approach things, but also to give you some action items, to give you some ideas to help you get on that right path. So the point is that being nervous or anxious or worried or downright scared has a predictable effect on your mind. And the tunnel vision sets in. This is just how our brain works, that when it gets nervous, when it gets anxious, it filters out excess information and just goes to the most important stuff, which can sound like a good thing, right? But you'll learn in a minute that it's not necessarily that way. When this tunnel vision sets in, when this anxiety sets in, you tend to revert to your most rehearsed behaviors. You go back to those old habits. You go back to what feels comfortable and feels most safe. You second guess yourself. Anything, new, or that rational side of the brain, you start to second guess it and say, well, but this feels better. This feels safer. And you become very literal minded. Have you ever tried telling a joke, or have you ever, made a sarcastic comment to someone who in that moment was maybe feeling a little bit anxious or a little bit worried or something of the sort, and those people have difficulty understanding what you were talking about. They seem confused. They took you very literally. And it wasn't that they suddenly lost their sense of humor. It was just that their brain was in tunnel vision mode. So if we kind of are understanding that's how your brain works, how well do you think a gymnast is able to go perform if they're in this mindset? How are you going to be able to adjust in the moment? How are you going to be able to adapt to a mistake or a bobble or, any simple change? You tend to revert to your most rehearsed behavior while nervous. So what are those most rehearsed behaviors? And those often vary from gymnast to gymnast. And if you're not doing mental training, there is a good likelihood that your go-to behaviors are not good, that they can be harmful to your performance, that those behaviors that you're falling back on are not a great foundation. So that's one piece of the mental training. But positive go-to strategies to fall back on are not necessarily enough in and of themselves. Are they helpful? Absolutely. But there's another layer to it. So let's jump outside of sports for a little bit. Let's go to school. So you're taking a test. Maybe it's a final, maybe it's a midterm. And many tests are more difficult if the teacher, professor is asking you to apply the knowledge that you know, but maybe in a more fluid format. So it's not really multiple choice or fill in the blanks. It's something where like, okay, you think you studied adequately and you should be able to answer these questions, but they're asking it differently. And you're asked to do something novel with it. And when you're nervous, this often trips people up. So after the fact, if you go back over the material, like, why didn't I think of that? Like, this seems so obvious. Why didn't I say this? Why didn't I say that? Like, I don't know what I was talking about. Why was that so difficult? It seems so obvious now. But now you are calmer. Now you are not in the nervous moment. You're not worried. You're not in tunnel vision mode. You're able to think more creatively. So when you panic, that creativity and that flexible thinking just go out the window. If you have ever interviewed before for a job, or if you haven't, think ahead to the future. And imagine that you're on an interview and an interviewer asks you how you're going to react in maybe a job situation. And a lot of times these job situations are going to be new to you. You haven't heard of them before. You're interviewing for this new position. Your nervousness can absolutely affect the quality of your answer. And keep in mind that this phenomenon happens regardless of your skill level. This happens whether you are a level 5 gymnast or whether you are a level 10 gymnast, that your brain doesn't say, well, you know what, you're a level 9 now, we're just going to decide to function differently. Your brain goes to that tunnel vision mode regardless. It's pretty much human nature. So that panic, the fear, the nervousness, the worry will block you from achieving your full potential. And of course, you can still perform well despite this feeling. You can succeed, you can power through, you can, prepare for that moment. But it's tough because you're not thinking to your maximum potential. You're not thinking to your full potential. But the remedy for that particular issue is simply happiness. It's being in a good mood. It's feeling more calm and relaxed. And the next time you feel nervous, begin to act the opposite way. So fake it till you make it, right? Fake it till you feel it, we could say. Keep that tense atmosphere a little bit more lighthearted. Make the effort to joke around, make the effort to smile, make the effort to, talk with teammates and kind of bring some levity to the situation. And it seems awkward and it seems odd. It seems, like something weird to have to do, but you're going to want to pre-plan what you can do to make the situation feel more lighthearted. So is there a certain YouTube video that makes you laugh? Is there a certain song that makes you smile? Is there something that just makes you happy that you can recall or do or, say in your own head to be able to smile or laugh during those situations? Plan for that. And I will say, and we totally recognize that there are teachers and there are coaches that are not going to be thrilled if you're faced with a difficult situation and you're smiling and laughing. And they're going to assume that you're not taking the situation seriously. And a lot of times they don't understand that this is helpful, that this is an important lesson, that this is something that is going to better you and your performance. And, it's crucial to your success, especially in situations that require you to make those adjustments on the fly and react in novel ways. But I understand. I've been there. And I know that, okay, maybe you're struggling on bars and nothing's clicking and you can't seem to make a routine for the life of you. And if you go back to the chalk pail and start cracking jokes or smiling or talking too much or doing anything other than looking frustrated and downtrodden and angry with yourself, that you might get kicked out of practice. And I know those coaches. I've been there. I understand, and I understand their reasoning for it. They don't get it. They don't understand. And to be fair, that if you're not being purposeful about what you're doing, yeah, you shouldn't just be joking off and losing focus and whatever. But it's different if you're being purposeful about this and you're purposefully trying to bring yourself out of this hole. Because what happens if you're looking sad and acting angry and are in a bad place? Your teammates start to go into a bad place. And if you have a whole gym of people with this negative energy, it's tough to come back from that. And when you're in that situation and feeling that way, you don't want to get back up and try again. You don't want to go do more reps. You just want to go home and potentially not come back the next day. And that's never a good thing. That's, the fact of the matter is it's gymnastics, right? And we bring this up from time to time that it's a sport. It's gymnastics. It's supposed to be fun. And it's so important that we take the responsibility, that the gymnasts take the responsibility upon themselves to bring the enjoyment back into the sport, to approach things with levity and happiness. And I know it can be difficult, but it doesn't mean that it's not worth doing. And I will say, if you feel like you have to kind of toe that line a little bit and be careful with how you approach this, that, go ahead and laugh to yourself in your head. That's fine. Smile, tell jokes to yourself in your head. Kind of have your own world going on up there. And if you need to put on an angry face so you don't get kicked out of practice for now, okay, we'll work towards that. But at least for you, understand the importance of being happy internally. And this applies to other areas of your life as well. There's a reason that we brought up school and job interviews and stuff like that, that mindset is not only a sport-specific issue. That if you're not addressing these mindset things now, they will follow you for the rest of your life. This is work that you're going to have to do at some point, so it might as well be now, right? But you're going to want to get good at laughing at yourself. You're going to want to get good at, understanding that you're going to make mistakes and that sometimes they're amusing. We need to learn to stop taking ourselves so seriously. And also understanding that most people are not paying close attention to us, especially on a day-to-day basis. They don't care about what you're doing or how you're acting. They're too busy worrying about themselves and worrying about how they look and what other people think of them. And, but practicing how you will look and feel both during and after a competition, throughout practices, during a test or, an interview or any time where you're getting those nerves or those anxious feelings. Practice that. See yourself smiling enjoying yourself out there, really picturing a more positive experience. You will be surprised by how well you can perform when you stop taking yourself so seriously and you let go and you have fun and you start to feel that enjoyment again. And the added benefit, of course, is that the flexible thinking, the adapting, the creativity, will open up to you from there on out, that your brain will start to work better in those situations. And that's really what it comes down to. But as always, if you have questions about this, if you have, send me a message if you have a favorite funny YouTube video or a joke or something like that. I'm always open to hearing it. But take this and try it for this week. That's always what I try to leave you with, right? That you might not wholeheartedly believe that this is going to make a difference, but give it a go. Why not try it? Try it this week and practice, see what happens. Keep it top of mind this week and see what happens. If you know a fellow teammate that's struggling with a lot of negativity and stuff, share this video with her. Kind of share this message and see if you can be that leader and bring in, the smiles and the jokes back into the gym. If you have other questions or are curious more about the Mindset program, like I said, you can always message me right here on Facebook if that's easiest for you. You can visit us on gymnastmindset.com. We have contact forms and info there. And we offer a free trial session for anybody that's interested in giving it a go and seeing what it's like, what we're all about, all of that good stuff. But like I said, I hope you all have a great week. Smile as much as you can this week, especially in practices and school and any of those stressful situations. But I appreciate you all watching, and I will be back next week for another Mindset Monday here on Facebook Live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, I will talk to you later. See ya.